Oh, it looks like we're live. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Ubiq Community meeting. Hi, I'm Alex Stirk. I answer the phone. To my left.
Luke, you should know me.
You also go by a different name. No, you don't need to associate that. Okay. And then to my other right, we have our other core developer, Aldo.
Yeah.
Hello.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for being such a wonderful host while we're in Barcelona here. It's very rare that we're all three of us in one room or just any of the members in the same room. But things are changing and we try and accommodate it all. And, I think we owe it to ourselves to welcome the newest member to the core team. And a big thank you from the community, Aldo, because the work you're doing is very appreciated. The developments and the leadership that you're taking on your own even is invaluable. Like it's very helpful, and we're very excited to see Shoku.
Yeah.
I guess maybe even just to start for those who don't know, can maybe explain Shoku.
Mm-hmm. Shoku basically is it's a project that I've been working on in the past couple of months. It's going to be more or less like Infura. It's a very useful tool for developers. We're going to take care about hosting Ubiq instances in order to avoid developer community to host or manage a Ubiq instance, which sometimes is very cumbersome and it's not very easy to start. So with Shoku, it's going to behave more like Infura, and in there you can query Ubiq instances, which is going to be very useful because for now Sparrow is going to be powered by Shoku, and several other services are going to migrate to Shoku as well. So I want to make a big announcement when it's done, or at least the alpha version. But let's speak later about it.
And it's very useful for any of the dApp developers to not have to worry about hosting an instance, and more so even have an instance that they can trust, a node they can connect to. So this will be useful for a lot of services, and
for building the apps is going to be a good idea to have or to rely on Shoku.
And so starting off, there'll be Sparrow, Pyrus, and Ubiq Scan will be using Shoku.
Cool. And that just kind of it has been like our main focus for, I guess, the first year, right? Like it's just building kind of core infrastructure stuff. I don't know if you want to elaborate more on that while I write this tweet.
Yeah, so obviously the different wallets, Fusion, Pyrus, and Sparrow. So they all sort of fit different niche use cases. Fusion obviously is the full node desktop client, and then also has the dApp browser built in. Sparrow has basic wallet functionality, but is more targeted at interacting dApps, and is also you don't need to run a full node. Connects to, in this case, will connect to Shoku. And then Pyrus is obviously the sort of more of a light client where you don't have to run a full node, but it's still more based around wallet functionality, not so much you don't interact with dApps with it. So they've all got sort of different features for different use cases. So you have options on which one you want to use.
So like that's definitely like something we really needed, I guess, early on, but more so as we keep growing too, to help kind of build a scalable infrastructure. And I guess I was really taken back by the independence that you took to come and build it. Yeah, and that's what we are looking for when we want to add more core developers to the team. I mean, anyone watching at home, you guys could be sitting here with us at some point in the near future. We are very open to that. But yeah, we want to see you know, a little bit of self-direction, but also the ability to kind of work with the team. But yeah, we're really open that way, I guess. And we've seen some great participation. I know I met up with Eric last week. Building his own block explorer is a really great first project. And yeah, even trying to improve upon other things on the GitHub are great ways to kind of get our attention and to learn more and to build your portfolio of different skills. I don't know, anything to add on new core devs?
No, yeah, just don't hesitate to get involved. Ask questions. We're always happy to answer good questions. It's definitely a relief from the normal quarterly win moon that we get bombarded with most of the time. So yeah, just get involved.
Yeah, we have 2 different rooms that are useful to ask questions in. The Ubiq developers room for anything related directly to Ubiq, and then there is a programming room for maybe more broad questions and topics. So yeah, and wow, we're up to 27 viewers already. So thanks guys for tuning in. We are more than open to take questions in the YouTube chat or in the Discord. We were hoping more people might join us on the Hangouts, but we understand the hesitation. So we do have a small itinerary for the meeting here, and I guess just for like opening questions or things that we can discuss is scalability. And, you know, we don't have too much issue with too many things running on the chain right now, but Luke, do you think you can describe if we are able to scale to Ethereum's level of transactions as we currently are?
Yes. So obviously, we're in that aspect, we're pretty much on par with Ethereum. You do technically have slightly less transaction throughput due to our longer block times, but that can easily be addressed by increasing the gas limit per blocks. And that can be done just by mining pools setting that parameter. It doesn't require an update or a fork or anything like that. So when we do have a need to increase those the gas limits on blocks, we can just coordinate with the pools and get that done. At the moment, there isn't a need. We're not coming close to that threshold most of the time. Occasionally, the limits do get hit, but they dynamically adjust up in that case.
Yeah.
And so something else we've obviously been discussing, if people saw our talk with Griff, was bridging with the Ethereum mainnet. So that's also sort of another aspect of scalability there, just allowing users to easily transfer value between the 2 networks and interact with dApps and stuff on either network. So if one network's a little bit busy, then you can quite likely just send your coins or tokens over to the other network and do what you need to do there.
Yeah, that's definitely something we want to participate in, and it seems like the Ethereum community is having more of a need for it. So we will definitely put a lot of focus that way. Yeah, so the main topic for the meetup tonight, and just kind of to pull the community on interest in, is the governance token, which was something we've been kind of hinting at for a while, and just trying to really hammer out all the details. Hence why we're all here now. So one of the suggestions we had for a name, and I think we're going to move forward with it, was I'm going to butcher it.
Escher.
Escher, yeah, the Escher token. So yeah, Escher was a very well-known Dutch artist who does a lot of fractals and repeating patterns, but we just like the name, I think, too, as a token. But we'll appeal to the community to try and create a logo. You guys have been really good for helping create things like the Twine logo. We've had some really good submissions for it. But yeah, so the
correct.
Yeah, Vibrant, that is correct. Yeah, the Escher token is what will be dropped. Unfortunately, there was many other good suggestions, but the nickels will not be used. I'm sorry. As for timing and everything, we are just kind of doing the initial testing right now. So there'll be a test a test claim process. So
we're going to run through. We're going to put up a test claim that just to get users familiar with the process. So how that will work is you'll make a zero value transaction from the wallet that you wish to claim for the airdrop, and that will sort of register that address for each airdrop that takes place. And then the balance in that address at the time of the airdrop, the final block that's within the claim range, will determine how much tokens you get. And there'll be multiple. So then after that, we'll do the first real claim.
Yeah, which end of April, I think.
Yeah, which we'll plan for end of April. And so that'll be the first distribution of the Escher tokens. And then we'll start having proposals so we can get some voting in action.
Yeah, so just kind of to summarize is like you have to have Ubiq in a wallet that you control, so it can't be on an exchange. You will have to interact with a contract to make your address, I guess, part of the claim. And then whatever your balance is at the time of the block, which we'll announce as we get closer, end of April being the general time, then you will be credited Escher tokens. And I think to start with, it will be for every Ubiq you have in your wallet, you will receive 12 Escher. And over time, we're going to do more distributions. So we're looking at doing this every quarter. So April being the first one, and was it June? Yeah, June. I guess it would be June. We'll do the next one, and then so on and so forth. So about 2 months after every quarterly report, you'll see there'll be information of an airdrop. You'll have about 2 months to kind of sort out your claims and stuff. Yeah, there'll be the distribution. Yeah, starting with about 12 tokens being distributed, and I think that will be for the first 4, and then I think we'll reduce over time. We will probably have an end to it at some point, but it's going to be based on participation. If we don't see a lot of participation, we'll probably keep the distribution going for a little bit longer. If the community and the token supply is very active, lots of people are claiming, then we'll look at shortening it up a bit. But yeah, so for one Ubiq, you'll receive 12 Escher for the first 4 airdrops. But yeah, the exchanges, I mean, they can try to participate, but it's mainly going to be you have to interact with the contract. So you need to be in control of your funds. You need to be an active user, basically, is what we're looking to reward with the airdrop. And yeah, this token is going to be used for voting proposals as our first kind of use case, and looking to add more utility to it over time. Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to maybe go into detail about the system that we're using, at least with the...
Yeah, so if people are familiar with District 0x, we'll be using very similar proposal and voting mechanics. So it's fairly straightforward. Essentially, there'll be a GitHub repository and issues submitted to that proposal. So there'll be a template for those proposals, and then you can vote on those. Each proposal will be valid to vote for within a range of blocks. So there'll be a start block and end block, and all the votes in between that range will count towards that proposal. And then the decision will be made, obviously, on the end block.
So the I guess the voting page, or the page where most proposals will be displayed, will probably be like a Ubiq Smart domain. We're going to do our best to display every proposal that is submitted. if we see that there's a lot of.
If we need to do some moderation, we will be doing some moderation, and we just to prevent any sort of spam and just trolls from hijacking the page. But ideally, we would like to keep that as unmoderated as possible.
Well, and I think even just as a real base level kind of fair moderation, we'll have like a minimum amount of vote tokens before it's displayed. So like if you need at least 88 vote tokens before the proposal shows up, we can adjust that as needed. But we want to clarify and be very open with the community that, like, you know, the domain, the Ubiq Smart domain, is displaying, you know, the best proposals possible. If you guys want to see all the proposals, we'll be willing to help anyone set up a page that will display the uncensored list. And yeah, we're mainly doing this just to, I guess, make sure that things are being done properly. But obviously, we're going to have it be transparent and auditable. So yeah, that's just kind of yeah. There'll be more details in the disclaimer on the page, just kind of outlining what's what. But we do kind of have a short list of proposals that I think the community is very interested in voting on. Yeah, just to clarify for people joining late, the first airdrop we're going to do at the end of April. So look for like a contract address and a block number in the quarterly report by the end of this month. We will do a test claim. So if you want to familiarize yourself with the process, you can sign up for like a test claim contract, and I don't think we'll do any distribution. It will just be
It'll just be the claim process, and we'll put the results somewhere so we can check that it all went through properly.
Yeah, so you can get the feedback and everything, because no use spamming the chain with more tokens. So yeah, so voting proposals that we kind of had just as a basic list, you know, really general polling questions like, do you want proof of stake? You know, do you want master nodes? I don't know if that will make it through. I'm voting no on that one.
As am I.
Hard fork available, or like hard fork for, you know, the newest version of Ethereum, if you feel we're ready for it. But then those are just general kind of polling questions. The real ones are what we're going to do with NDF funds. So the 15 Bitcoin that we currently have, and there's some change involved in that too, 14,000 Ubiq, I think. But yeah, we have a bunch of projects that we feel deserve funding, but we are gonna let the kind of community vote which ones should have priority. So there's different things like BTC Relay, so allowing Bitcoin transactions to kind of be represented on the chain. Peace Relay, so having we talked about this earlier with the bridge between Ethereum and Ubiq. Other functionality for the token itself. So being that it is a standard, like it follows the kind of the ERC20, like all the functionality of any Ethereum token can kind of be ported over, at least for the standard ones. So we want to put bounties up for funding like Raiden functionality, so we can have our kind of own Lightning Network sort of thing. 0x, so building kind of an exchange functionality into the token, and like things like ENS and any other Ethereum-based protocol is really up for voting, and that's kind of central to you know, just basic developments. We also want to put up rewards for people who are, you know, actively building their own services and infrastructure. So rewarding things like maybe a new stats page. I mean, the one that Sigwo has is great, but like we really would like to see one with a Ubiq logo on it. And more block explorers. Like we obviously love to see, you know, Ubiq.cc is you know, planning some improvements, and Eric is working great on the UbiqExplorer.com, and Ubiscan, like we are happy to see it be voted for. But yeah, we really like to try and reward more outside of the core development team. Like that's the whole purpose of governance, is trying to go beyond, you know, the guys you see in this room here. Like we want to really get the community involved. But yeah, there's other things too. Like if someone develops an open source mobile wallet, maybe put together a Raspberry Pi node, like a standard kind of package. If you guys have improvements for TARs, you know, something a bit more substantial than the Lambo command.
Slap command.
Yeah, yeah. So those are all things that yeah, we feel that would be worthy to at least vote on. Yeah, we'd like to see other people kind of join in and have other things to reward. But the other thing too, with regards to funds, just because something is voted for is not automatically means it's paid. There you know, might be a safeguard in place where we want to make sure things are kind of audited. Like you know, the idea of payouts is not automated yet. We're not dealing with a DAO situation right now of you know, if you know, if something malicious happens, we still have some kind of safeguards in place. But again, it's going to be a transparent process that lots of people can participate in, and yeah, we are doing our best to be open that way. But yeah, we had one other thing too of trying to build more incentivize, you know, things that are maybe more unique to Ubiq. So Luke brought up the Viper code base. So everyone's kind of familiar with Solidity. Maybe Luke, if you want to.
Yes, Viper is another smart contract language that compiles to EVM bytecode. So it is entirely compatible with Ubiq. It's newer than Solidity, so there isn't a lot of there's not a lot of developer resources. There's a lot of documentation and tools. So we'd like to sort of encourage the community to build that out more. So we have more options for new developers entering the space. Because at the moment, most of them are going to go towards Solidity just because there's more of an ecosystem there. But Viper's pretty cool, so we'd like to
see more
see that ecosystem develop up a lot more.
And even contributing to some of the guides that we've already built, like Open Zeppelin, providing a little more of a two-way relationship, you know, a little more give and take. Yeah, yeah, as for other things, like I know a topic that a lot of people bring up is marketing, or things like new exchanges. These are proposals that we haven't really prioritize. You know, developments are really where we like to put our focus, but if we want to vote on things like building swag or sponsoring a certain event, even doing things like we've done in the past, like crypto community cards, if we want to vote on who would be a card or something, we have a lot of opportunity there. Coin payments, maybe doing some outreach with that to try and push more retailers to kind of use Ubiq or the Ubiq system with coin payments. But yeah, that's I mean, we can try and vote on an exchange, a certain amount of funds being towards exchange, but
some of those listing fees have gotten out of hand.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money to be. That could be better used in most cases, but we can have proposals for that and see what the community thinks.
So yeah, like we can scroll back in the chat here because we started to get some more questions. But if you guys have any suggestion for proposals right now, I'll write them in the list. Be sure to drop them in the chat and stuff. So let's see, who would win in a fist fight, Alex or Vitalik? I don't know. I got like 130 pounds on my guy. He maybe knows some like jiu-jitsu that I don't. Like, he might be a bit more strategic. What is the likelihood of additional exchanges to start trading? So as what's been communicated, we are working with Einstein. They're a busy team. They're doing a lot of work on it, but they have communicated it very thoroughly and very publicly that they're going to add Ubiq, and that it's a bit of a special exception because we would be one of the smallest coins that they've added. But they this is something that we aren't ignoring by any means, guys. We are applying to exchanges. It's just the cost and just the general feedback that we get from exchanges is we don't have the time, or like yeah, they're
I contacted several of them. They are super busy, you know.
And we have interest from smaller exchanges too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hear those messages. Any chance of new ICOs on Ubiq? So
there's always a chance for that. I mean, it's an open platform; anyone can launch an ICO. So it's just a matter of someone wanting to do it.
We already found out that someone did a pre-sale, so there might be an ICO, but it's not like an officially supported one. I think that's not really our focus, really. Like the GeoCoin swap is way more in our mindset than doing more ICOs. But by any means, if somebody is planning on doing one, they have just some general questions, we can help where we can. But in terms of like an advisory role, it will be based on project, and we have enough things kind of on the go right now. Bittrex wallet, I'm pretty sure, is online. So I'm not sure about that question. Did you know Chris Nolan was inspired by MC Escher?
I think he's referring to Geo. Yeah, so as far as the Geo swap goes, the Geo token has been deployed on the Ubiq network. That was done by Wafer, the GeoCoin developer. Would have been last week. And so they're still waiting on exchanges to finish swapping everyone's balances over. But it's in the exchange's hands now. So Cryptopia and Bittrex, everything on the GeoCoin team's end is done. They're just waiting on the exchanges to finish the on-exchange swaps.
Yeah,
and they have been processing the manual off-exchange swaps since then as well.
So the token is live. It will start trading when the exchanges turn it back on. It's kind of out of our hands at the moment. Yeah, please be patient with the exchanges, guys. They're busy teams.
Yeah, they take their time.
Yeah. More questions on the governance, I guess. What is the distribution period we look like? The distribution will be over a span of months or years. So just to reiterate, quarterly distributions around. So we just had the 1-year anniversary of the network, where we stepped down from 8 Ubiq per block to 7. But that's kind of going to be our quarterly interval. So like next year at the next step down to 6 Ubiq per block, there should all at the same time be a distribution of Escher tokens. But yeah, the first one is happening in end of April. Probably not April 20th. We'll do it end of the month or something. But look in the quarterly report. There'll be details of the contract address and the exact block that it should happen. And then there'll be like one in the summer, one in the fall, and then one next kind of January-ish. This is a good question. Do you think there are limitations of having a relatively small team? Do you guys prefer a smaller team, or are you looking to recruit? So the term team is very loose too. I mean, like we all work together and play very nicely with each other, but it's like this is an open source project. Like we don't have any funding to like hire any other people. That being said, there is the development company, Ubiq Incorporated, Technologies Incorporated. There's possibility that we will hire developers more for our own projects and customers. But currently, the focus of the company and the developers has been, building basic infrastructure for everyone to use. And we will see more developers, some with payrolls, but generally right now everyone is working on it in their free time. Like that's why we are very thankful to have Aldo come on to the team. He's doing some great work, and yeah, we might see a proposal to make sure Aldo can get a donation for the good work he has done. So yeah, the smaller team right now is mainly just because we're close knit, and I wouldn't say it's too small. I think in terms of people working on Ubiq part time, we are getting lots of help. Like a shout out again to Eric for helping out by building a Block Explorer. And by any means, if you guys have take a look at the GitHub, pull requests, everything are a great way to participate.
Every help is appreciated.
Yeah.
In that part.
Yeah, so we are more than welcome, but yeah, we'll see some growth the coming months here. We got some interest that way. See here, what we answered the geo question. Oh, sorry, I skipped it. What form of constitution will be formed, including guiding principles and most important fundamentals? I mean, as a community, I think individually we all have principles, and that's the thing I like about Ubiq is that everyone kind of comes with an open mind and an idea of how they would like to see the community look, but nobody's really in control of it right now. But in terms of something like a white paper, there might be we can maybe outline why we made the decisions that we did. Talking about like flux, that would be a really good topic for a white paper because we kind of proved some scientificness there. I don't know if that's a word, but but yeah, that's a good question. So
10 grams question mark.
Yeah,
10 grams is awesome.
Yeah, I want a t-shirt of 10 grams.
I do like 10 grams. I'm a fan.
Oh yeah, we'll see what we can have implemented too for the tip bot and the Discord with it. What about expanding community to other exchanges? Another exchange question. We answered that already. Thanks for answering each other's questions, guys. That's great. I understand we're answering what do you think is the most difficult process in making a crypto and building a community?
That's a big question.
I think it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. Like a good crypto forms out of a good community.
Yeah, and that's really what happened with Ubiq. But yeah, and then on the technical side of things, balance. Like every decision you make, every parameter that's tweaked, there's pros and cons. So everything has a small cost, and it's just balancing all of that out correctly to make sure everything works out right. And we keep obviously economics in consideration for that as well, which is can get quite complicated in the crypto space. There's a lot of different aspects of the entire security model of a blockchain is based on the economics against the native currencies. And yeah, so it's I don't know, that's a big question, but yeah, I'd say balancing, making sure everything's correctly balanced is probably the most difficult thing when it comes to making a crypto. Often one of the things that's least thought about. There's obviously the different things you need to understand, but and then there's testing.
We've been around long enough to see a lot of experimentation to know kind of what works, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's what's good with we collectively we have a huge amount of experience, and I've seen a lot of projects succeed at different things, and a lot of other projects fail at different things. And so yeah, we're always looking at other projects and seeing what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, that's I think it's a good approach. take that to be careful. As Ethereum is the bleeding edge, normally we can take things slowly and see what is going on there. So it's better for us.
Yeah, like yeah, we'll definitely be watching, I guess, Ethereum for how we can improve in the future. But yeah, having an open mind too, I guess, of new solutions to come about. Because I wouldn't say any of us were Bitcoin maximalists. I mean, we were all very intertwined in the altcoin space. But when it came to building the Ubiq network, we started to realize that like Ethereum is fast becoming a new standard. It's grown to a scale that is comparable to Bitcoin now. So to build an Ethereum-based altcoin seemed like a really good fit, and it hit a lot of check boxes for us. And yeah, for the future, like we're very curious to what Ethereum does. I think we have some critiques of what their plans are for the future and how we may differ. But we are very fortunate that we can kind of look before we leap in a lot of cases. Yeah, and mainly with regards to, I think, proof of stake. I think a lot of us are big fans of proof of work, but we see the benefits of having elements of proof of stake, hence kind of the governance token. But when it gets down to more of a protocol level, like we see with Decred, like we really like the approach that Decred has. But yeah, like as for like what does it take to build a good crypto, I don't think anyone knows that right now. It's hard to say that any cryptocurrency or any blockchain project is perfect, but we're definitely doing our best and trying to learn from not just our mistakes but the mistakes of others. So more questions pouring in. This is great, guys. Asking about the Ubiq trademark. Yeah, I think we can trademark it. Then maybe in Canada at least, maybe the U.S. as well. The thing that comes down to is enforcement. So if somebody else uses the Ubiq name maliciously, we can definitely try and go after it. But if somebody uses it in a nice way, it's like it's more of a question of like the company doing it. It's like the network isn't going to go after an individual in the real world.
These controls.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, and trademarks basically come down to like, you can apply for it, but if somebody uses it and you don't stop them, and then somebody else uses it maliciously, they're just going to point to the first person that used it. Like, well, you let them do it. Why can't I do it? So we're kind of leaving a bit more of an open mind to it, but I don't think there's any issue if somebody else trademarking it, then we can't use it. Like we have a precedent that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's something I'll have to talk to Christine and the rest of the legal team about it if it's something we really need to pursue. But maybe it would be more from the corporation standpoint. So marketing plans for 2018, mainly just participating in some conferences. Like we were just talking about attending Consensus in May in New York, me and Luke. But I think we're both going to try and go to EdCon at the beginning of May in Toronto. They do have an option for sponsorship, so maybe we can sort out governance by then and vote on it. I mean, it all comes down to what they're going to charge. Like, if marketing is going to cost like 30 grand to do something, like that's like you could pay a dev, for a year with that. Like, there's way better things that you can spend on. And I think our general mindset with marketing is organic is better. We want it based on the work that we're doing. We did get some PR out of the Einstein project, which is now resulting in some more meetings. But like we've said before, it's a permissionless platform. Anyone can really do marketing. So if you guys really are hung up on it, go put up a billboard or something. Just kidding. I'd prefer you didn't. I mean, it's all about being tasteful too. I mean, we saw that Facebook kind of banned ads, and that was a really good decision because none of that was tasteful. So I mean, I think yeah, it will come down to doing more development stuff. Like that's why Viper was a really good, at least even from a PR perspective, if or SEO of just there's not a lot of resources out there for that part of Ethereum. If we develop that framework, then anyone in the Ethereum ecosystem that starts looking for that framework, they immediately stumble across Ubiq and understand that we've put time and energy and money into developing that framework. So like that's where we can get maybe a little more recognition. But right now it's just been word of mouth and it's working pretty good, at least in my opinion. Yeah, it's something that you guys are welcome to submit proposals for. If we see something that we really like, we'll definitely try and highlight it more. And swag is always a good one too, I guess. The poker chips have done well.
No, I think Nikolai, yeah, he was asking about how he's doing the mobile wallet.
Yep.
In our GitHub, we have currently very basic implementation that I started working on. It was for Android, for the platform Android. And yeah, I mean, as I'm working on Shoku, and Sparrow, and Twine, and more projects, I don't have time to properly update that project. So any help will be appreciated because it will be awesome to have the wallet. And yeah, any help will be great.
Just circling back to marketing for a sec too. Just being active on like social media is good too. Like, the answering questions on GitHub, retweeting or commenting. I know one thing I'm looking at doing just in myself is the one like YouTube show Linus Tech Tips. They're talking about launching their own coin. Like you guys should try and make you should fork Ubiq and make your own smart contract platform. And like if it goes nowhere, it doesn't. But I mean, it's just the willingness to do outreach and to show that like we are trying to really push the I guess the technology side of things a lot more. That kind of market penetration is good. Showing that anyone who wants to learn how to develop in the space, like we are a very accepting community that way. That's one thing we really try and push in the Discord is that Price Talk has its spot. And then general kind of conversation and enthusiasm of the industry is encouraged. We really try and push that environment. Okay, going back to questions, unless anyone has comments on marketing.
No comments on marketing.
I mean, you were wearing a Ubiq t-shirt today. Yeah. Still
So,
yeah, you were advertising on the streets of Barcelona, so there you go.
It's the marketing.
Oh yeah. No one stopped you on the street, but
no, I try.
Didn't know the cross-chain swap for Ubiq was a question I brought up. Yeah, that's BTC Relay. Dope guy was asking about. So if you want to read more about that, then it's something we're kind of interested about. Let's see. Are you worried about publicity affecting your dev? I'm not. I mean,
I'm not quite sure what he means, but no.
I don't know, maybe a cult of personality of sorts. He can maybe clarify for love of if you want to clarify your question a bit. How do you guys learn to make a crypto? I guess that's more of a question for you, Luke. Well, you have a guide on how to make a token. Yeah.
A lot of time and passion. You just start learning. Tackle one thing at a time and just keep going.
Nick Poetic asks, I read a lot about Ethereum is implementing additional privacy with Metropolis. Any thoughts on this regarding Ubiq? So that would be the ZK snarks.
Yeah. So that's something that we're obviously interested in. I'd like to see that tested more thoroughly on Ethereum mainnet before we bring it over to Ubiq. But once it's there, there's no reason we wouldn't bring it across. It's obviously useful functionality.
It's very, very beta. I mean, like,
yeah, it's too early at the moment.
Or alpha.
Like, yeah, Zcash is the ZK snarks kind of bleeding edge, and then like they're, what is it, like 1 or 2% of transactions are private, so it's barely used right now. But yeah, just in terms of how having like a private variable in the EVM, like it's useful, definitely is, but we would want to see a little bit more precedent before we use it. But that just goes with our general kind of approach. Yeah. Well, will there be offline paper wallets soon?
There is already. You can generate paper wallets using Pyrus. That's been possible for quite some time. So if you load, you can generate a wallet in Pyrus, and then on the wallet info tab, you can print a paper wallet.
Any concerns with adoption now that they're a generation blockchain? Not really any concern with adoption, I guess. I mean, right now there's just been a huge surge to the industry, so I don't think
I'm not quite sure what's meant by third generation blockchains.
Maybe
a lot of terms get thrown around.
Yeah, you could be talking like IOTA or something, but I mean,
definitely not concerned about that.
We chose to build with the Ethereum code base because it's becoming a standard more. Like there are other EVM platforms out there, and there's still a lot of work to be done on them to really show their full functionality. So not a lot of concerns that way. I don't know if we can address that. Time for a song. Yeah.
So he's still asking me about you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So any more questions, guys? We would love to hear it. Otherwise, yeah, we kind of went through our list here. The status reports. Sparrow is out right now. If you guys want to play with it, I mean, I don't know if it's 100% ready, but it's
almost ready.
Yeah. It's in the Chrome store, so start playing with it. That's our fork of MetaMask.
Yeah, there is an known bug. We're working on it. So yeah, just be aware of that. But that will be fixed shortly.
Yeah, you can go also to the Firefox store, so it's in both platforms.
Yeah, also available in Firefox. That's great.
The next version, I guess, of the ETH, 1.69. I mean, that's something that is like maybe 90% of the way done. Is the next version of Geth being ported to Ubiq? At least everything that's not required in a hard fork. So there will be a new version released shortly. That kind of.
Yeah, so if you're running Fusion, that will automatically will notify you once that's been released and prompt you to download the new version of Ubiq to run in the background. It's not crucial that you do, but it's always good to be running the newer version. And following that, as far as the core client goes, work will then begin on the 1.7 release, which includes the new EVM opcodes.
Do we have any info on Twine?
Twine's just waiting for us to release it. Development-wise,
it's completely lost.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
done way longer. Yeah.
It's just Sparrow had priority as far as release dates go. Yeah. Twine's just sitting there ready to push out.
Yeah. Like we got a pretty good selection of logos, but I think we're gonna go with I can't remember the name of who did it. I probably shouldn't mention it otherwise.
I see. So Twine provides a new version of multi-signature wallets. So if you're using Fusion, you can create multi-signature wallet contracts. They work really well for Ubiq. However, they don't enforce multi-signature on tokens. So this is what Twine is addressing. It enforces multi-signature on both UBQ and any Ubiq-based tokens.
Yeah, that's multi-sig being really important. Again, especially when we start getting into making sure you guys own your tokens for the distribution. So I guess kind of circling back around to governance. You will need to have your own wallet. So set up, a multi-sig or maybe get a hardware wallet. We have both support for Ledger and Trezor. They're great products. I recommend both of them thoroughly. If you guys are able to use them, please do. But to reiterate how governance is going to work, you need to have Ubiq in your own wallet. You will interact with a contract. We're going to publish it in the next quarterly report. There'll be about a 2-month heads up of between the quarterly report and the quarterly distribution of the token. You have to interact with the contract, and at that block number that will announce, there'll be a distribution. If you don't have any Ubiq in that address, there won't be any of the Escher tokens, Escher being the governance token. The plan right now is for every Ubiq you have in that wallet, you will get 12 Escher, and that will be the same for the first distribution. So if you have one Ubiq and you participate for the next year, like you're an active user, you got Ubiq in your wallet, you're like, I'm ready. I'm reading every quarterly report. Yeah, there's the contract, signed up. You'll get 12 Escher at each 3-month interval. Just to make sure that people are confident in the process, at least for the first one, we're going to publish a test claim. So you'll be able to sign up, just make sure it works. If you want to even build some crazy services or something, you can try. But you'll be able to claim, we'll publish all the addresses, I guess, that did a successful claim. So that'll be a test about a month after the quarterly, I guess, and then 2 months after the quarterly will be the first distribution of Escher tokens. I don't know, did I do a good recap? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was nothing enough.
Yeah. So Jules just wanted me to recap. I wanted to make sure I got everything. We got 50 live viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Couple follow-up questions here, I guess. Just making sure everyone, I guess, knows who everyone is. You guys have seen me before. I'm Alex. To my left here is Luke. Yes.
Probably behind the microphone.
Yeah. And then our newest core developer, Aldo. And so these guys are the ones doing all the real work. I'm just a guy who won't shut up. Some questions, I guess. Any new thing with Signum? Signum is there's stuff happening on the back burner right now. This is more regard with the Ubiq Corporation, which I can't really go into right now. We're doing a change of scene on it, but development on the platform is still progressing. The corporation is just a whole nother entity, so don't worry about it. Do you have a vision plan to thwart network bottlenecks like CryptoKitties did with ETH? Well, it's a permissionless platform, so if anyone wants to build a CryptoKitties, there's nothing stopping them. In terms of how much use they will get is a different question. But we're not opposed to people using the chain. CryptoKitties had a lot of things wrong with it that wasn't helping the transaction situation, but we have a lot more bandwidth to handle that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, miners are just going to process whatever miners can get paid for. So yeah, there'll be other games out there. We've talked with other game developers too. This Saturday, I guess in 2 days, there'll be a Block Talk, the other YouTube channel. Subtle shill. We're going to talk with Neon District. So I mean, like these guys are, they're building for the EVM. Plan right now is to build on Ether, but the more interoperability that's built, or the more issues that Ethereum might have in terms of scalability, the more opportunity Ubiq will be used for things like finance, enterprise, and just gaming, trading memes. So yeah, like there's not much we can do to stop it, but at the same point, like the network can handle it. We're fairly confident that way.
Yeah, and we've got some ideas for improving that if need be as well. So when the time comes that we do need to, something does need to be done, we've got a few tricks up our sleeve. To say the least.
Can we get a link to the government? So I'll probably try and do like just a separate post for governance, just a nice clean blog post for it. I don't know if that's going to be before or after the quarterly. Till the end of this month already is going to be busy enough. So I think it'll probably be just the quarterly, and then just like maybe a week before the test distribution, and we'll do another blog post purely on governance, on the different metrics of it. But yeah, you'll get a proper written thing before the month's over. Yeah, you guys are all just joining in now. I mean, we're sorry if we repeat ourselves, but this is great. I like the participation. So plans on marketing, yeah, we kind of addressed, or the focus is on organic growth. If we can prioritize development, we will. If we see some really good proposals with governance, we are, and the community, is behind them, we are more than willing to support that expenditure. Like we're not just going to veto any marketing plans. Like it's just marketing to be tasteful, and that's to be it's got to appeal to the right people, because there's a reason there's no Facebook ads anymore for crypto. Let's see. Link for info on Twine. I think we'll probably publish full info on Twine in the quarterly, because it's kind of ready right now. I think it's just mainly branding.
Yeah.
There's no minimum amount required for the governance token. That might be a good question. If you own less than a whole Ubiq, would you get a portion of the distribution? I mean, we're not limiting it to whole integers.
I don't see why not.
Especially if there's 12 coins. But
yeah, we can 12 divides, fine.
We can maybe make it that. It's a good question, actually. Because the governance token, like, we can choose how many decimal places are on it. We can maybe make it whole coins only, so it's like only a whole vote. I don't really see any issue of doing, but we're just gonna have rounding issues everywhere.
Limit utility.
Yeah.
So you'll receive based on your Ubiq balance. So there's no minimum, at least at this point in time. That might change. We'll see how the test claim goes and what kind of numbers that pop through, and if anything seems problematic, then we might have to address it. But at this point, I don't really see any reason why you wouldn't get issue tokens based on fractions of Ubiq.
Please, no more kitties. Yeah, I mean, I didn't own any kitties personally, so I was not supporting that endeavor.
I'm partially guilty of supporting that endeavor.
I mean, it was cool. Like I was at the hackathon that it won.
I'm with Alex.
Yeah. It like, I can see why it won, and it has some really cool game mechanics. And I was hearing that 2018 was going to be the year of the fork, and I'm like, nah, it's starting to seem like it's going to be the year of like gaming on the EVM. Like gaming has always been a really...
There's some interesting games coming, especially fascinated with Neon District.
Yeah. Neon District will be a good interview, and that's in 2 days. For you guys who are in the Discord, I mean, if you're not in the Ubiq Discord, why the hell are you here? I mean, come on. Jeez. But join the Ubiq Discord, set a profile pic, because that's how you get access to all the cool rooms, like all the Ubiq rooms. And there's a block talk room as well. And this Saturday, we're going to talk with a project that is currently building for the virtual machine. And not to say that they're going to build on Ubiq. Their current plan is to build on Ethereum, but I mean, this is a good discussion we can have. We like to really understand people who are using the smart contract language. Let's see here. This chat just jumps around weirdly.
Are we open for a coin based on Ubiq? If you mean a token, yeah, we've already got quite a few. More tokens are welcome.
And like we'll reiterate again, it's a permissionless system. Just because we don't own anything.
It's there, use it.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
We have a whole how-to on how to make your own coin.
Unless if it's CryptoKitties. I mean.
Yeah. I mean.
Working.
Yeah. Yes, I am Dutch. At least my background is, but I'm actually Canadian. Luke is
from New Zealand, but I live in Spain.
And then Aldo
from Madrid, Spain.
Yeah. So a very diverse team. And like the Ubiq Corporation is based in Canada, mainly because that's where a lot of our business is taking place. But we'll see a little more focus, I think, in Canada in the future in terms of locale. But like some of the teams in Hawaii, we got people in the Netherlands that are helping out. So Luke and I will be in the Netherlands this weekend. If you guys are keen to meet up. I mean, the idea that like Ubiq is the Canada Ethereum or the Chinese Ethereum or anything like that, it's a global network, and there's a global development community. So we're really happy of just the sheer amount of support we get from everyone. So like there are other rooms in the Discord too. I believe there's a Dutch room. There's a Korean room. I'm not sure what other rooms made it over from the Slack. I think there's a Russian room as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of optional channels. If you game, there's a gamers channel. There's plenty of people in there.
Oh, yeah.
Gaming.
Let's see.
Some other channels I won't mention.
So
no, I'm Luke. I'm not Julian. Julian is not here with us today, but he's still
he's with us in spirit.
He's still a very active member of the team.
That's Aldo. He's the newest member of the team. He's MVP right now. Oh yeah, perfect. So I mean, someone's bringing up Binance. I mean, Binance is, it's the newest kid on the block. It's like the hot chick right now. Everyone just wants to be involved. Not to say that we're not trying to be on Binance. I mean, I've talked with their team. Application in progress. We don't tweet it though. But it just comes down to if they're going to charge us an arm and a leg. I mean, we're not really too keen on paying that. I guess the other thing we can address with governance is when there are proposals or things like that, we can probably put addresses with them too. So if people want to donate, there'll be more than just Ubiq addresses too. I think that's been one thing that we kind of differentiate a bit in the Ethereum community is, our governance is owns Bitcoin. So, to fund projects, we don't have to dump Ubiq, and we kind of like to keep it that way. I mean, Ubiq has some utility. Financing projects is not the first one. It's definitely a use case, but it's not the use case. It's the same with hosting ICOs. I mean, I'm pretty confident now in the liquidity that we have. We can start hosting ICOs like crowdfunding contracts. But as we addressed earlier, it's not really our focus. Geo is a very good example of the projects we like to support. And for those who want progress reports on Geo, it's currently in the hands of exchanges. Be patient with them, please. But the token is created. You can find it on the assets page on Ubiscan. So it does exist. It has been credited to some late claims. And yeah, we're just waiting on the exchanges to turn back on. But yeah, we appreciate the help that everyone put into the GeoCoin swap. It was definitely a community project. Yeah, I can't really say how much it costs to get on Binance. They keep changing their number.
They're pretty expensive for sure. I mean,
yeah, well, and they're saying that they're not going to do paid listings anymore, but I think that's a crock. I mean, hopefully they don't watch this. No, they don't have the time, especially right now. They're busy.
Yeah, they're very busy.
But well, I mean, we're going to see Romano from Viacoin this weekend, so we can discuss with him more privately about how Viacoin, what their process for getting on. Yeah.
So more explosions. There'll be a block talk on Saturday with who from Neon District's coming?
Their lead dev, I believe one of their artists, Coin Artist, is going to come as well. So it should be a pretty packed.
Yeah. That Neon District, that's the game that you are referring to, the one that Coin Artist is working on. So check out the block talk on Saturday because that will be with the Neon District team.
And if you're in Vancouver or Rotterdam, well, at least Vancouver, you can go to the basement and be part of the live audience. It'll be 1 p.m. there. If you're in Rotterdam, it looks like we're going to be able to meet up at the same place that I just did the speaking thing at. So we'll probably have a live audience in both spots, as well as you know, quite a few people from the team calling in. Luke's going to join me. He better. And yeah, and maybe Alva, if you have time, you can call in as well, because it will be a good discussion on, you know, the current state of the EVM. You know what? Because yeah, we're realizing now that crowdfunding is only one use case for the Ethereum virtual machine. So we're keen to kind of discuss that with them. So yeah, if you guys have other, you know, projects that you know, you want to find out more about, by all means, reach out to me in the Block Talk room. Yeah, especially things with like an Ethereum flare are kind of interesting to me right now. But you know, I've been talking with the guys from Ryblox, the Nano Currency. What else? Syscoin. So I mean, like this goes back to what we were saying earlier. Is like we're an open-minded community. We're enthusiasts in the space. And you know, we're open to hearing other people's approaches, because that's how we better understand ours. You know, it's the only way we're going to be able to build the best blockchain products that we feel is best, is to really understand what everyone else is doing. You know, like not only learn from our mistakes, but learn from the mistakes of others. See what works and what doesn't. So yeah, Rotterdam should be this weekend.
Yeah, so me and Alex are flying out there tomorrow.
Yeah. So Saturday night in Rotterdam, reach out in the Discord. We can hook you up with some details. I'm not too keen on being that public with you guys. I mean, gotta have some op spec. Let's see here. Any they're busy now. When in Rotterdam. Do you want to address that one?
I guess, yeah. So Quark update. If you check the Twitter, cards will be enabled for loading with Quark on the 20th of this month. So I guess that's the latest news. As I've mentioned in the Discord, there is a second debit card service launching fairly soon. It's been delayed slightly due to some API issues with the card provider. We're just trying to get them to add more functionality for some sort of crucial things that we want to be able to do. Everything's sort of moving forward there. So yeah, on the 20th, if you've got one of the cards, you've got to load with Quark, and the new service will be happening. We were originally aiming for February, but that's probably not likely to happen right now. So maybe March.
Cool. Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention is, I guess with the blog. So we've done some guest posts with the blog. So if you guys, want to write a piece about, how to do a crowdfunding contract, or you want to do a translation of one of the quarterly reports, we are able to post that on the Ubiq report medium. So actually, I think I have one for the one pager in French that we'll probably put out. So that's all very helpful. It's the same with Bitcoin Talk. I mean it's not as used as it used to be, but still have an account there and try and participate. Translating the first page or any relevant kind of posts is very useful. It helps kind of get us beyond just the English speaking community, because we are a bit more global that way. But yeah, we still have a bit of a backlog of some blog posts that we have to do, like how to use the Trezor. We've already kind of done a Ledger one.
I'm working on more guides for tokens and other EVM contracts. So yeah, there's a few more token guides planned, getting sort of more complex each step, more functionality. First one was just sort of very basic to get people in the door. I'll probably have a crowd sale one planned for people that are interested in that. And yeah, we'll see what happens there, but we'll be covering other token standards as well, other than just ERC20.
I guess that's something we didn't really mention too, is the token that's going to be distributed, the Escher token, governance token, is most likely not going to be in ERC20.
But it is compatible with anything that supports ERC20.
Yeah, there are a couple improvements on the ERC20 standard. So if you check out this YouTube channel, we just did an interview with Griff Green from Giveth. So he helped develop the Mini-Me standard, and him and his team, they added a lot of really useful features without really breaking the standard of the ERC20. So a couple tokens already use it in the Ethereum ecosystem, and the extra features are really necessary in terms of the functionality that they provide. But I guess that's one thing we're still doing a little bit more deving on, is Mini-Me has kind of been slightly adapted to be an official ERC. So if you guys want to read more up on it, check out the ERC 777. The 777 token is it's very new. Like, a lot of people are using Mini-Me, but I think 777 is going to be kind of the more official standard of it. We are actively looking at one of those two standards. We did see a small issue with it that we'll see if we can address. That's kind of the token that will be dropped in terms of what you guys will be receiving at the end of April. Only if you interact with the contract, though. You can't just be chilling on Bittrex and be like, "Yo, where's my coins at?" No, you got to withdraw. You got to interact with the contract, and you got to chill and wait for the snapshot date. That's that. So these next two questions, I guess, are pretty similar. So Ubiq versus ETH is not really the conversation we have. It's Ubiq is kind of more of a complement to Ethereum. Ethereum is very much a standard that goes beyond just the Ethereum chain. And we are not looking to compete against it. We are purely another option. The same way that I guess like Bitcoin and Litecoin maybe aren't really competitors. They definitely both serve a purpose. Litecoin's purpose is arguable. But the functionality and like the smaller community, the functionality is pretty much identical. The focus is a little bit different. The structure of the economy is definitely different. So like we have an active monetary policy. So some of like the principles that we built in the Ubiq were a monetary policy. So like, the miners have a predictable reward structure. We started with 8 Ubiq per block. Last 2 weeks ago, we switched to 7 Ubiq per block, and that's baked into the protocol. It's going to go down next January and the January after that until it's down to 1 Ubiq per block for the rest of the time. That's the proof of work element of it as well. We have the ability to remain proof of work forever. So these are kind of principles that we baked in. It's the social contract we're all agreeing to, and it won't change unless there is a sizable consensus among the community that there's a need for change. And I guess the same kind of goes for ETH Classic and Ubiq. I mean, we have a bit more of a support structure. We definitely have more infrastructure built now. As there was a news article today by Cointelegraph that showed that Ubiq has more tokens. And even though it didn't show all of them, it still showed that we had at least one more than Ethereum Classic. We have a real community. That's
for sure.
Even with the regards to token support from exchanges is a really big thing too. So if you were to build an ICO or even just create a token on Ubiq, both Bittrex and Cryptopia support Ubiq tokens. So there isn't like an uphill battle of trying to get listed there. Like the technicals of it are within their wheelhouse. Whereas I don't believe the Ethereum tokens are really traded anywhere. The classic tokens.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and I think it's a similar concept to like the quantum tokens, maybe on a couple Chinese exchanges. But I guess one of the biggest point, like if you want to drill it down to one, it's the no ICO and no pre-mine. We all had a fair stake at this. We've just been working on it a bit longer, but like you guys are able to come and contribute the same way we did. It's the same way Bitcoin worked. Bitcoin launched with an email chain. There's an email list. Ubiq launched with an IRC room. It was a community of developers who all kind of formed a social contract to say like this thing has value. This thing is a fair opportunity for everyone, and it's been like that since. We obviously made the improvement of switching to the Ethereum code base, but it was a community endeavor. It was very public, and well documented, and we were a testnet for like 6 months. So thank you to everyone who was a part of the testnet for Ubiq, and everyone who's joined us in the last year. I mean, even people joining us in the future. Like we do appreciate everyone who's willing to come to the community and contribute and really add value, and more than just speculation. Like there's way more value that can be added to the community, which can kind of translate to value in the token. But at the end of the day, like the community is really what's valuable here. So I'm not sure what time. We've been going for a little while. It's about an hour and a half now. Are you guys doing all right? Do you need another drink, Luke?
No, I'm good.
No? I'm running low on mine. Aldo, any final points?
Basically, I'm super happy to be part of this family. Previously, I didn't. Well, I usually talk a lot with Luke, but knowing you in person, guys, has been very good. I mean, for me, I want to bring more things to Ubiq. So.
And we're more than happy to have Aldo in the core dev team. I mean, he's been a valuable asset for the community, and we hope to see many more like him.
Yeah.
Go Ubiq. A little more clarification on the token, I guess, or listing. Like
I guess. So what he was saying is both Cryptopia and Bittrex support Ubiq tokens on a technical side, at least. Running a Ubiq wallet, their code supports Ubiq tokens. So that is one less complication when applying for listing. You obviously still have to meet their listing criteria and go through those hoops, but they don't have to actually implement any new code on their end to support a Ubiq token. So it's very straightforward to them, assuming you meet their criteria.
So yeah, if you guys want to create a token, I mean, make sure it kind of has some use, I guess. I mean,
that would be advice. Is if you are looking at that, just from how the regulatory sort of environment's evolving. If you are going to create a token, focus on some form of utility. Make sure it has some sort of use. Don't just create a token for the sake of creating a token. If you're building a platform, in most cases, it could use Ubiq, it could use Bitcoin, it could use anything else. That's probably not a good use case for a new token. Make it do something interesting.
Or in the case of 10 grands, just make it fun.
Or just make it like 10 grands.
Yeah, 10 grands. I really for 10 grands.
And I guess one final clarification for the governance token. We are not approaching exchanges for it. We are not making any active plans to try and make it tradable.
So if any of you are sitting there expecting free money from this Escher airdrop, you're going to be very disappointed. Its purpose at first will solely be for governance and voting. There may be additional utility in the future, but yeah, like I said, we won't be we won't be submitting it to exchanges.
Our focus will be governance and voting, that governance and proposals will be also serving to add more utility to that token as well, because there are a lot of protocol tokens that are being built, and any of them that are open source or willing to share some of their science will be able to implement into this token. We're going to try and make it really useful, because Ubiq's already very useful, and its use case is slightly different. But we really are bullish on the Ethereum ecosystem, and obviously the Ubiq ecosystem. I mean, I think we're just bullish on the space altogether. Long term, we will do well. But yeah, we really want to build some cool shit for you guys, and we would love for you to also build some cool shit for us. I mean, that's the community we're trying to push forward here. So yeah, thank you to our 50 live viewers, and hopefully any viewers in the future. I mean, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate the interest and the support. Be looking out at blog.ubiqsmart.com for more info on current developments. Shout out Eric. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Love you, dude. And check out the blog, because the next quarterly we'll have the details of the contract to interact with. There'll probably be a separate blog post that will be have full details, and like, you know, it'll be specifically related to governance, and you know, a bit more of a how-to, and yeah, like
And with the test claim, so you guys can play around and make sure you understand the process before the real your drop claim takes place.
Yeah, and I mean, that's useful for us too, to see how it gets used, because we're just, you know, trying to understand the best way to put this forward too. So participation is greatly appreciated, just like in this chat. And yeah, thanks for everyone tuning in. We will end the broadcast now, and we'll do one of these very soon. I think in the next 3 months we'll do another training.
Yeah.
Great. Otherwise, just jump in the Discord. We're there all the time. I mean, yeah, there's a gaming channel that's fairly active, and we'll get the voice channel a bit more active too. I'll try and hang out when I have a connection. Yeah, I have the blue sneakers. Okay, I usually wear the cowboy boots. Calm down. All right, thank you everyone, and goodbye. Sayonara. Toodles.